As soon as Marcia gets here, we're going to start talking about a new method. Where'd you beam in from?
The outer reaches of the multiplication galaxy. I was just learning this great way to multiply by adding.
Great. How does it work?
Well, to make this work, you've got to have your basic facts memorized.
Right. That always makes multiplication a lot easier. I've been brushing up on them.
Here's the addition method of multiplication. I call it that because I break one of the numbers into its add together parts. We'll take a look at 42 times 6. Break the larger number 42 into its expanded form, 40 plus 2. Then multiply each part by the 6. Starting from the left, 6 times 40. Well, that's 240. Remember the intermediate answer, 240, while you do the next part.
Well, it might help to say the 240 to yourself a couple times to help you remember.
Okay, 240, 240. Now, multiply 6 times 2. Well, the answer to that is 12. Then you add 12 plus 240. The answer is 252.
Whoa, I think I'm going to need a few practice problems to get the hang of this.
Okay, do 37 times 5.
You said the key was to break the larger number into parts. Okay. 37 becomes 30 plus 7.
Now, multiply each part starting on the left.
Well, 5 times 30 is 150.
Remember 150 while you multiply.
Okay. 5 times 7, 35.
Add 35 to 150.
185. Hey, that's not so tough.
Yeah. Here's another. 54 times 8. Now you're going to think about breaking 54 into 50 plus 4. But we can just look at the 54 and remember that the 5 means 50. So, 8 times 50 is 400. Remember 400. Then look at the ones place. 8 times 4. Well, that's 32. Add 400 plus 32. And your answer is 432.
$108. $416. $238. $405. $335. $255. $438.
Do you remember the compatible tens we worked with in addition?
Well, those were the dancing couples, weren't they?
That's right. Well, there are also compatibles in multiplication. Those are factors that multiply together to give a nice round number, well, like 10, 100, or 1,000. 10 has just one set. That's 2 times 5. But 100 has several sets to watch for.
Well, I can think of 10 times 10. What are some others?
Well, there's also 4 times 25, 2 times 50, or 5 times 20.
Oh,
The compatables for 1,000 are the same as the ones for 100, except that one of the factors has an extra n0. There's 10 times 100, 4 times 250, or 40 times 25, 2 times 500, or 20 times 50, and 5 times 200. Now, if you have a train of factors to multiply together, look for the compatible factors and multiply them first. You can even rearrange the factors in the problem if that makes it easier to think about. Here's a problem to see how it works. 5 times 6 times 5 times 7 times 2 times 2. If you tried to multiply each factor in your head as you come to it, you'd probably give up. But if you watch for the compatible numbers and multiply them first, the intermediate answers are much easier to work with.
if we match up 5 times 2, that's 10. We can match another 5 times 2 for a second 10.
So now you have another pair of compatibles. We can rearrange the factors so it's easier to see that we have 10 times 10, making 100, and 6 times 7, or 42. Now, our remaining problem is 100 times 42. The answer to our long train is 4,200.
That wasn't bad at all. The key was multiplying those compatibles first.
Well, let's practice on another one. 9 times 5 times 20 times 4. Do you see any compatible factors?
Now there's 5 times 20. Well, that makes 100.
Good. So we'll start with them. Next, we'll multiply 9 times 4. That's 36. We'll end up with 100 times 36 for 3,600. Sometimes you can factor apart one of the multipliers in order to use part of it for a compatible. Suppose I had 2 times 13 times 15. There are no obvious compatibles, but if I factor 15 as 3 times 5, I can use the 5 with the 2 to make 10. Now, 13 times 3 is 39. And taking that times 10 is no problem. The answer, 390.
$360. $700. $3,500. $24,000. $4,300. $56,000. $4,500. 14,400. 7,200. 3,600.
Do we need a new white balance? Yeah, I need to run those color bars too. Yeah, I know, you know, that's all right.
Which tape? You got the tape in the camera and everything's ready? Okay.
Are these are for today?
Yeah, those are the ones.
Okay.
What do we got?
We need a new white balance.
Uh-oh. Division.
So what?
I don't know why, but I've always had such a hard time with division.
Oh, well, you know, a lot of people don't like division because they think it's more difficult. But, you know, you can always take a division problem, make it a multiplication problem.
Huh?
Well, yeah, like, suppose you had a division problem like 80 divided by 10 equals what? Well, you just turn it into a multiplication problem. You say 10 times what equals 80. Well, 10 times 8 equals 80,
Yeah.
right? So 8 is your answer, the quotient. So 80 divided by 10 equals 8.
Okay, let's see. If I had a problem like 100 divided by 5 equals what? I'd re-say it as 5 times what equals 100.
Right.
Well, 5 times 20 is 100. So 20 is the answer.
Uh-huh.
Hey, that does make it a little easier.
Yeah, or like suppose you had a tougher problem, like 320 divided by 8. Try that one.
All right, 320 divided by 8 would be 8 times what is 320. If I set aside the 1 0 in the 320, I'd have 8 times what is 32. Well, that's 4. And then I put the 0 back on. 320 divided by 8 is 40.
Right.
Hey, that works. Should we make it a take?
Sure. Okay.
Four. 5. 8. 6. 7. 6. 7. 3. 50. 300. 400. 50. 90. 800. 100.